all-new Honor Magic V3 foldable flagship with AI power. The thinnest and lightest AI foldable phone. Passes rigorous drop tests. IPX8 water resistance, third generation silicon carbon battery with AI power management system. Honor AI Magic Portal. Smart intent recognition. The thinnest and lightest AI foldable phone. Honor Magic V3. Discover the magic now. The
Check. 1, 2, check. Check 1, 2.
How does international and affordable housing?
Focus on lucky.
Let's create a plan that drives success and
True, but don't forget
sustainability. Great opportunity ahead. Culture and
Thanks for hosting us.
It's great to have such.
عقدين من الزمن تنزل تليفونات ذكية، ملينا منها، نفس الشكل، نفس التصميم، نفس الفكرة. اليوم نحن نشوف العصر الجديد من التليفونات. هذا التليفون فعلا غير مفاهيم كثيرة.
I like to call myself a leader of entrepreneurial team.
I'm an educator.
Transformation content creation. I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
Marketing.
I'm a lawyer. Drone show pilot. Founder of a fintech startup.
We like sleek.
Amazing. Completely different.
You don't even know that it's a folded phone.
يعني لو انا اقول لاحد هذا تلفون ما راح يعرف انه هو فولد. It's actually a magical phone.
I don't know how do they do it, to tell you the truth. It's impressive.
I'm so excited to explore the Honor Magic V3. It's going to be amazing.
all-new Honor Magic V3 foldable flagship with AI power. The thinnest and lightest AI foldable phone. Passes rigorous drop tests. IPX8 water resistance, third generation silicon carbon battery with AI power management system. Honor AI Magic Portal. Smart intent recognition. The thinnest and lightest AI foldable phone. Honor Magic V3. Discover the magic now. The
It's great to have such.
How does international and affordable housing?
Focus on lucky.
let's create a plan that drives success and
True, but don't forget
sustainability. Great opportunity ahead. Culture and
Thanks for hosting us.
It's great to have such.
it's true, but don't forget affordable housing.
عقدين من الزمن تنزل تليفونات ذكية، ملينا منها، نفس الشكل، نفس التصميم، نفس الفكرة. اليوم نحن نشوف العصر الجديد من التليفونات. هذا التليفون فعلا غير مفاهيم كثيرة.
I like to call myself a leader of entrepreneurial team.
I'm an educator.
Transformation content creation. I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
Marketing.
I'm a lawyer. Drone show pilot. Founder of a fintech startup.
We like sleek.
Amazing. Completely different.
You don't even know that it's a folded phone.
يعني لو انا اقول لاحد هذا تلفون ما راح يعرف انه هو فولد. It's actually a magical phone.
I don't know how do they do it, to tell you the truth. It's impressive.
I'm so excited to explore the Honor Magic V3. It's going to be amazing.
all new Honor Magic.
Hello. Hello, everyone. So we can get started to seat. Please find your seat. And we are about to start in about 10 minutes.
Thanks for hosting us.
It's great to have such
Discover the magic now.
How does international affordable housing
Focus
Power. The thinnest and lightest AI foldable phone passes rigorous drop tests. IPX8 water resistance, third generation silicon carbon battery with AI power management system. Honor AI Magic Portal. Smart intent recognition. The thinnest and lightest AI foldable phone. Honor Magic V3. Discover the magic now. The
It's great to have such. How does international?
Let's create a plan that drives success and
True, but don't forget about
sustainability. Great opportunity ahead. Culture and thanks for hosting us.
It's great to have such. It's true, but don't forget affordable housing.
عقدين من الزمن تنزل تليفونات ذكية ملينا منها نفس الشكل نفس التصميم نفس الفكرة. اليوم نحن نشوف العصر الجديد من التليفونات. هذا التليفون فعلا غير مفاهيم كثيرة.
I like to call myself a leader of entrepreneurial team.
I'm an
Digital
educator.
transformation.
Through content creation, I'm an orthopedic surgeon.
In marketing.
I'm a lawyer. Jean-Charles Pilot, founder of a fintech startup. What do you like?
Sleek.
Amazing. Completely different.
You don't even know that it's a folded phone.
يعني لو انا اقول لاحد هذا تلفون ما راح يعرف انه هو فولد. It's actually a magical phone.
I don't know how do they do it, to tell you.
I'm so excited to explore the Honor Magic V3. It's going to be amazing.
all-new Honor Magic V3 foldable flagship with AI power. The thinnest and lightest AI foldable phone. Passes rigorous drop tests. IPX8 water resistance, third generation silicon carbon battery with AI power management system. Honor AI Magic Portal.
Good evening. I think everybody's still, in the mood of lights are dark. We're still not going to start now, maybe another 10 minutes delay. But no, we are actually starting officially today's event. And I got to be very honest. It is very, very rare to have a lot of the industry leaders all in one room. Today's topic is very interesting, and it's all about innovation. Now, when it comes to the innovation, it's the process of coming about different ideas, methodologies. It's the Google search definition, right? And everybody can just Google it right now, and you're going to get the definition of what innovation is. But for me, let me tell you, for me, innovation is a little bit different. Innovation, it's the teamwork. Innovation is the process, the brainstorming. And all of this hard work and the dedication of different industry leaders to actually bring about something that is meaningful for the people, something that truly impacts the people's life, something that truly makes people's life better, more productive, more efficient. I mean, we are here in the UAE. And if we are talking about the UAE like the Museum of the Future, which is one of the most innovative structures there is, if we're talking about the technology that is being used or how the infrastructure is being done, is definitely innovative. And we're talking about the smartphone industry. And I believe this is one great topic that we'll be covering today. The smartphone industry, there has been a lot of innovation, but not all the brands are truly providing the true innovation that has a direct impact on people's lifestyle. And this is where Honor comes in play. we have proven over so many times is that the innovation that we introduce into the market is having a direct impact to people's lifestyle. And its sole purpose is to make it more productive and more efficient. Now, for the first topic that we're having, I would like to invite Mr. Ahmed Zarouni to the stage, the CEO of Link Connects, where he will be telling us more about the innovation in the UAE. Mr. Ahmed, please welcome to the stage. Please put your hands together for Mr. Ahmed.
Now it's on.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum again. That was part of the innovation. You still need to press the button. I have just a quick story. I know you guys are eager to hear more about the innovation of the magical honor. But I have another definition of the innovation, if you allow me. It's a story, a very quick one. I will be a very quick one, and I will use your style of stand-up comedy, but in technology this time. So I will be talking about, in my opinion, the definition of innovation. I will be talking about the United Arab Emirates. We have a biggest competitor. Someone we always know that this is the biggest challenge, competitor that we need to overcome. Competition is healthy. But this particular competitor, it's always becoming our biggest challenge. It challenges us in hospitality. It challenges us in entertainment. It challenges us even in the government services. Almost in all of the verticals, this competitor keeps challenging us and pushing us to the next. And I will tell you who is this competitor. United Arab Emirates. Our biggest competitor is ourselves. We are competing with UAE to make our standard even higher and higher and higher, and the sky is not the limit. We don't have limit. We have a ministry called, in Arabic, La Mustahil. If we want to translate it to, it will be Ministry of Impossible. And we don't believe that something is impossible, because what you will hear from our colleagues here about this innovative, magical device, in my definition, it was impossible. Maybe we had 2 events in the past 2 days. They called it unveiling or something, but unfortunately, they are not even close to what you are going to see here. Now, why I'm talking about the UAE? Because I'm a UAE national? No, that's not it. Because what I'm going to mention now, it's the message from all of the people who even just landed here for a few days. They will all have the same message. Innovation in government services. I still see largest nations struggling to provide services that can be done with a touch on a phone and receive your passport the next day. You renew your Emirates ID, you create your Emirates ID, and you receive it the next day. Is that innovation? For largest nations across the globe, yes. But in our definition, it's not. Why? It will be same-day delivery. Can you believe this? And mark my word, you will see it in news soon. Same-day delivery for a passport. Same-day delivery for an Emirates ID. Same-day delivery for any government services. That's the challenge. And that's magical innovation. How is this even possible? By breaking the boundaries. We had a service for quite some time, and I think I was one of the first people who tweet about it. With the workflow, I don't know how, but it reached somewhere and it was approved. I'm not saying that it's because of me, but I was one of the first. When you have a new child born, you will receive a message that the passport is ready. Before even applying for it, the passport is ready, the Emirates ID is ready, the birth certificate is ready, and someone from government will come and check on the baby. That's all been set. And when is this? After 1 hour of the baby born. It's not 5-star services. I think the index should be changed now to UAE star services. Okay, so we have a lot of that, a lot of things that fulfill this innovational of the United Arab Emirates, but I think I don't have enough time. They all want to kick me out from here. So thank you very much.
Wow. Thank you very much, Mr. Ahmed. I gotta be honest, it is very insightful to see what the UAE government is actually working towards. I said at the very beginning, innovation, it is meant to be towards the people's service, right? It's meant towards making people's life better. It's meant towards making people's life more productive, less hustle, if I really want to put it the simple way. And this is truly what we have seen with the UAE government from all the information that has been shared from Ahmed. And definitely the UAE government is not stopping the innovation. I mean, there is a lot of different projects. I'm pretty sure Ahmed did not have enough time to cover and to talk about. But definitely it's very interesting and very exciting to look forward for the more innovation yet to come through the UAE government, once again, towards the people, to provide them a less hustle lifestyle. I'm supposed to be talking for quite some time. I'm running out of ideas and topics because they're still putting the chairs. And, oh, done. Okay, thank God. All right. All right, now for this next part, we are going to be, well, seems like innovation, the topic is very interesting because everything seems to be hanging, right? Which yet again, it gives us more room to innovate and make things better. Now for the next part is the fun part, right? And this is one of the main topics that we're going to be covering today, which is the panel discussion under the name of Social Coins of Innovation. And that's where we'll be inviting some of the industry leaders on the stage. First of all, I would like to invite Ms. Mona Ataya, founder of Mom's Word and Byte.com. Please welcome to the stage. The water is very important. You're going to be talking quite a lot. Next, we're having Sudu Arumugam, Chief Product Officer of M2. Please put your hands together. Welcome to the stage. Next, we're having Mr. Rishabh Singh, VP of Products at Astra Tech. Please welcome to the stage. And for our moderator, we are having the founder of one of the most famous talk shows in town, in the whole UAE. He's also the entrepreneur and interviewer. Please put your hands together for Mr. Anas. Please welcome to the stage.
Hello. Ooh,
I think so.
it's too loud.
Hello. Yeah.
Mine's a bit too loud. It's too loud.
Anna, I got you. Yeah. We're good now. Okay. Okay, I need to be facing at a 45 degrees so I get to see both sides. Okay. Hi, everyone. No personal questions today.
Oh, shit.
Okay. So, I have some very interesting questions with me that I want to go through. And we said that in the green room that we're going to have it based on innovation. What I would suggest, of course, is always personal experiences and personal stories that everybody can hopefully relate to or learn from. We like storytelling since we were kids. So the more we can do storytelling about something technical, I think is great. So Mona, Sudu, and Rishab, it's so nice to have you. And I'm going to start with the first question. Innovation is the blood. Oh, it's too loud. Lahza, lahza. Okay. Innovation is the lifeblood of success in today's fast-paced world. How has your approach to innovation set your brand apart in a competitive market? I want to repeat the question again, just so we really think of the answer. How has your approach, each of you, to innovation set your brands apart in a very competitive market? So let's have a very open discussion and wherever the value is added. Who wants to start?
Should I start?
Sure.
Happy to start. Yeah, is this too? It's not too loud.
Loud, okay.
Okay. So I'm one of the first entrepreneurs in the region. I came back in 2000 to be the pioneers back when internet penetration in the Middle East was 2%. I was one of the many Arabs who left the region and never came back to the region because of this perceived lack of opportunity in the Arab world. And there were many people like me abroad. So we set out in 2000 to change that and to revolutionize recruitment in the Arab world. So myself and my partner came back. We were the first tenants of Dubai Internet City, and we launched Bait.com. Today, Bait.com reaches half the labor force of the Arab world. Over 10,000 CVs are added to the Bait's platform every single day, just under 4 million every single year. So the reality is we set out with this vision to revolutionize the way employers and job seekers connected and bring back amazing talent to the region. And fast forward 24 years later, the Bait brand is still growing, profitable, and has changed and revolutionized the ecosystem. So the innovation in that really was very simple. It was about identifying a need gap, something that was very important, and figuring out how to do that. Just on my second business, which was Mum's World, which I launched in 2011. Back in 2011, access to products was very limited, prices were very high, and in a very proliferated and fragmented region, mothers were unable to reach the products they wanted on time. So Mum's World revolutionized the e-commerce vertical space and created a pioneering, different way of solving the need gaps. So the long and short answer is innovation is very simple. It's about what is the need gap today? How do you envision this need gap evolving over time? And can you come out of the box and come up with solutions that no one else has thought of and figure out ways to solve these problems? And that's what we did with both Bait and with Mum's World.
In the green room, I was going to ask her a question, and she's like, pause, we ask it in the panel. So I'm also waiting for the answer. You said with Bait.com, you came back to the UAE from Europe. You had your corporate job there. You came here, switched to entrepreneurship. And in the Dubai Internet City, when it was first inaugurated, you came. And you You said the penetration rate of the internet was what?
2%.
2%. So if you had said, Anas, I started Bait.com 5 years ago, 8 years ago, it would have been quite a typical answer. But to start it in 2000, you really have to think or take a risk to a certain degree. So my question, like I wanted to know earlier, is what made you think, one, I will come back to the UAE, two, I want to do something to do with online business or an online platform?
Sure.
Yeah.
So entrepreneurship is very simply about endless possibilities, and it's being so passionate about solving a need gap. So as a Middle Easterner from the region and being surrounded by other Middle Easterners who went and studied in the best universities abroad and worked in top corporate firms, we recognize that where we belong is building this region. And so the passion was, how do we come back with what we have learned abroad and put our passion and our skills and our knowledge to rebuilding this region? And so you come with a vision, the how-to, the execution, the strategy is something that as an entrepreneur you develop over time. So we came back to revolutionize recruitment in the Arab world. It's okay. Revolutionize recruitment in the Arab world. How to do that is something that we then strategized post that.
Sudu and Rihab, any stories that Rishab you might have, or Sudu, that you can only, if you narrow down your focus on innovation in your businesses, are there any stories where you think, okay, this was an edge for me or a USP?
Yeah, I think for me, I mean, Mona, I think covers the kind of product market fit kind of angle of it. But for me, it was, my background was 20 years out of London in traditional finance. So I used to run derivatives trading for Merrill Lynch in London. I used to run bond options for large hedge funds. And what I always found weird before I found crypto was that I could trade into these markets directly as a customer while at a bank, but I couldn't do it as an individual. And that really sort of made things really confusing for me, because I'll try to trade, as an example, European stock options, and they're like, well, you need to be a professional investor. You need to at least have $1 million in your brokerage account. And I was like, well, it makes no sense. Why would you do that? Why yes, you want to test the competency of somebody to make sure they're not just, they know what they're entering into, but why could it not be $1,000? And this is when I kind of stumbled into crypto and I suddenly realized that it democratizes everything. And, you could actually interact on the blockchain. You could be a billionaire interacting with a student who's got $50 in their account. And that's what won me over. And what that meant was we could finally build products as an industry that allowed end users to interact and do things directly, that you could trade on a platform without having to go through a broker. You could invest your money directly into companies without having to fight for an IPO prospectus and something like that through token offerings. And for me, particularly, that meant that from a financial engineering perspective, it meant that it was a whiteboard of products that you can build. And so that's what we set about doing as industry. Now, we were also lucky that there's this whole thing called decentralized finance where anyone can try anything. So you also have this incubation service, and it's all open source. So you have this incubation service for looking at this whole other world out there and picking the bits you like too. So, we're kind of spoiled that way.
What I think was pretty cool is to innovate, you have to first be annoyed.
To be annoyed by something.
Something has to bother you
Yeah.
that you want to find a solution for.
Yeah.
Or you think it's, okay, this is frustrating, how can I find a way? And I like how you thought the playing field is going to be even if we can get into a crypto kind of world, or the college example that you said, a businessman and a college student.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. And finally, your innovation.
For me, I would say innovation comes in different buckets, right? For me, I feel innovation happens in decades. And then you have a lot of simplicity attached to that innovation, where you can build a lot of products. So how we are kind of catering to this innovation is by being simple. I think 3 or 4 levers is what we touch. One is insane customer obsession. So we at Astra Tech we kind of saw a need in the region to have a comprehensive product or an app which can solve mass level problems in one app, right? You don't have to go to, if you want to buy a pizza, you want to go and download a Pizza Hut app and then get a pizza. You want to buy a McDonald's burger, you download that app. So for us, it was at inclusion within UAE as an ecosystem, and that's what we are building with Botim as a brand. And we are very agile and fast in that nature. So very early, we are recognizing what are the needs in the market. So for us, we saw financial literacy is quite down in the market. We thought of taking it head-on approach with our entities called as PayBuy, which is a central bank licensed entity. Quantix with lending possibilities and credit possibilities for customers which are unbanked, which are untouched in the financial world. So we are kind of combining everything in an Ultra app with Botim as providing that tech-enabled ecosystem for anybody to come and thrive together within the system as well. So we are not democratizing or changing how people do things, but we are just simplifying for people. For us, even that is innovation.
It is, of course. You're facilitating and making things simpler.
Yeah.
One of the quotes that I really love is simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. So people, when they see a simple service, they think it might be simple, but to make it simple, it takes a lot.
It takes a lot.
So I appreciate that. Okay, number two, in the age of digital transformation, consumer behavior is rapidly changing, especially through mobile platforms, as there's literally an app for everything, like you mentioned. How have you adapted your strategies to keep up with these shifts? Anybody? Mona, you have something.
So we recognized very early on that mobile is not just a platform. It's actually an interface. And it's actually a primary interface with your customer, because gone are the days when brands interact with customers on an ad hoc basis. The best brands are actually connected to the customer 24/7. So if you take the example of Mum's World, for example, so the mother consumer who gets her occasional push notifications or ads or even geolocation targeting is a mother who's essentially engaging with you all the time. So what mobile does is it allows you as a brand to engage with the customer whenever she wants, however she wants, and at the frequency she wants. And as an example, so a mother is in the car, picks up her son from school. The son says, I lost my water bottle in school. She clicks 2 buttons, and by the time she's home, the Yalla delivery of Mum's World has the water bottle waiting for her at home. In another business with Bait, for example, I'm a job seeker. I've applied to 6 jobs. And suddenly I get a push notification that says, hey, Mona, this particular company has viewed your CV and they want to meet you tomorrow. So here you have speed of interaction, you have immediate gratification, and you have personalization to the power of one. And as we kind of evolve our ability to kind of drive the mobile app with AI and with machine learning and with greater personalization tools, this interaction between brand and consumer becomes incredibly powerful. So you essentially have fingertip access 24/7 to the solutions you want. And this is changing expectations of the brands, it's changing expectations of the consumer, and it changes the entire ecosystem of how you actually engage with your customers.
Risha, what about with Botim?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how much you're studying the way of usage and how much you're adapting to the consumer.
Yeah.
Is that a factor for you?
No, I think that's the main factor, to be honest. You have to understand your customers, what their real pain points, what their real needs are, right? And one of the things which we very early on kind of stumbled and we thought, you asked for something, we saw people struggling to find the app they wanted to use it for, right? And that's why we said there's an app fatigue with people. They're not able to search what they're looking for, even they have it on their phones. And that's when we said, okay, we'll build an ecosystem we will not call and relate it to a particular business. You see different businesses saying we are into this, and then they evolve into different horizontal or vertical layers where they become kind of super apps, right? We said we will be an ultra app, we will do, and we will change our style of what happens on the app as customers also progress in their journey towards how they come and behave on the app as well. So for us, that's an evolution. We started as a communication app. People came, bonded with their loved ones. We understood they would want to kind of send money back home while chatting. We did that. We understood there's an unbanked population who doesn't even have an account over here, who have to pay a lot in terms of services to even get those basic amenities. We opened an account for them. We are giving multi-currency cards to them. Today, we are leveraging the whole payroll ecosystem, digitizing it in a way so that for corporates, not just for customers, even for business and SMEs, you can essentially process salaries for people within 2 days, within 2 hours, which was essentially happening in 2 days. So that's what we are kind of building with the ecosystem. We will take away the app fatigue, and with AI coming in, we feel we'll go a step further where things will go away from an kind of prompt or interaction-based to voice-based. So we will make sure customers or even our grandmothers can just speak and do the actions on the app.
Okay. I'm going to go to Mona and then Sudo. So Mona, social media, I know it plays a huge part in the businesses that you have worked on, and digital marketing are powerful tools for building brand loyalty and recognition. How have you leveraged these platforms to innovate and grow your business?
So social media and digital marketing has changed the way we engage with our customers. I'll start with the easy one first, which is kind of digital marketing. Digital marketing is very simple. If you know the tricks and the tools and you have a lot of money, you go into Google and Facebook and the others, and you spend a lot of money to acquire your customers. And there are tricks and tools in how you continue to kind of lower acquisition costs. The reality is most brands do not have these deep pockets. Secondly, even those brands that do have these deep pockets to continue to kind of acquire and reacquire recognize that I'm actually burning money on paid media, and this is not sustainable. So on the other side, you have this very exciting thing happening, and that is influencer or social or community marketing. And the world today has moved to this notion that your community is no longer your neighbor or your friend or your school. Your community really stretches across geographies and boundaries that you never thought existed. So if I have an interest in parenting teenage boys, I can tap into a global community of people whose psychographics are exactly like me. And I'm engaging with them regularly. I'm engaging with them very intimately. And if this group talks to me about reading a particular book or buying a particular brand or engaging with a particular brand, I'm more likely to engage. So that means that social communities are incredibly sticky and powerful to grow brands and to create a relationship with consumers. So at Mum's World, very early on, and we were the pioneers in doing this, we said, you know what? First of all, when we raised capital after our B round, we said, listen, we are a business built for women. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to go out there and raise community capital from women, because we're building a brand for women, from women. And we realize the power of that community. And then we build what we call the Mums Panel. And these are thousands of mothers from around the MENA region who engage in information sharing, in community building, in events, etc. And what has this gained us? We gained a gateway into 3.5 million households in the Middle East region through this community building. Similarly with BAIT. BAIT, like I said, reaches half the labor force of the Arab world because of this community drive, both from employers and job seekers. So incredibly powerful. It has shifted the way we think. The trick is, again, keeping your social influencer marketing credible, authentic, and real, and not going down this kind of slippery slope of commercial kind of drive. And this is where the good brands know how to do that.
Would you all agree that maybe now with how much I would say maybe there's social media pollution, there's so much information, there's so much advertisement, there's a lot of marketing, whether influencers or whatnot. Would you say that maybe the most authentic way to digitally promote your product is word of mouth, but online and offline? Because you use the word community marketing or community influence, right? So do you think that's the more sustainable way that, rather than paying to paid ads or promoted ads?
100%. It's your community.
All?
Yeah, I completely agree with Mona at a lot of things what she has been saying. And I really believe, you know, like what social channels bring in is kind of driving brand loyalty, right? People want brand loyalty, but before loyalty comes trust, right? We are all in relationships, different kind of relationships. You don't have trust, you don't have loyalty, right? So, and how do you build trust? So you need to build trust with the value of your product, which brings real solutions to real problems which people are facing on the ground. So I feel while there's a brand identity needed, I think it needs to be there for awareness. How we use it is mostly for awareness so that people are aware that this is happening. There's a shift happening. You could be a part of it. But the real advocacy comes when people use your product. They build that trust, and then they are the ones who are kind of taking on a word of mouth place in an offline space as well, and through social media. That's how you kind of get more traction on the product. And that's what we are kind of doing more. You won't see us on many social medias doing a lot of advertisements, but you would see us in labor camps, talking to our consumers, doing awareness over there. And that's where the real advocacy comes. We see one customer happy there, and the next day we see 250, 300 transactions happening from the same place.
And Sudu, do you agree with this? The paid ads versus or maybe both have to be used, or utilized. How do you see this today? Because maybe 5 years ago it was much easier just to do a paid ad and you're waiting for your CPM, who's clicking and all of that. But what's sustainable maybe in the long run is what we're talking about, is a community that really believes in the product.
Yeah, I completely agree. And the difference with paid ads historically was you kind of push it out there and maybe it works, maybe it doesn't. But really, if you look at the younger generation that's coming through into certainly crypto, they see something and they want to interact with the platform straight away through social media. Now, Twitter and Telegram groups are the main for crypto. But using Twitter as an example, if they see something, they want to interact directly with a member of the company straight away, and they have zero patience. So someone has to answer back, even if it's the CEO at 3 a.m. on a Sunday. Or the exec team, we all jump on and answer, because that word of mouth feedback is worth 1,000 paid ads in my view, because they go on to tell their friends. We never guess what the chief product officer pinged back. Now, why do we do that? Because we know this is important, but more important.
His mic is working, I think, yeah. Not anymore.
Not anymore. But more importantly, as a product person, we actually get really valuable product feedback on these one-on-one chats in direct messages.
Yeah.
So, we too, of course, you get people who pester you. My KYC hasn't passed. Why isn't my balance, why is Bitcoin gone down? I mean, we don't have a crystal ball. But you get other extremely valuable product-specific feedback from people. Why does it take 16 clicks to buy my first crypto from logging in?
That's a very good point. I was talking to, this is an idea for anybody in the banking sector, which I guess also you're kind of there. But I was telling a friend of mine, we were sitting across from a table, and I said, man, when we call a bank, why do I have to click 1, then 2, then 0, then 4, then 3, and then I have to wait until a human being picks up the phone, right? I told him, if you make a boutique bank today that says, I'll take $5 extra every month, but I will guarantee in less than 3 minutes, you will get a person everybody will switch to that bank. And it's interesting how in a very digitalized world, we still would pay more for a human interaction that is personalized. Sure. But that's also maybe it's also a part of innovation, right? To tell somebody in very quick, I will invest in a call center with 100 people, but I'll take $5 out of each customer every month.
Sure.
So.
Now, I can give you an example where it goes wrong the other way, because I know a friend of mine set up a business that rents above, uses Airbnb as a, as a corporate renter.
Okay.
They take 50 properties and rent it out. But he used AI because he said, look, I can save on a call center. The problem he had there is it took him about 2 weeks to realize that if someone asked for a refund, the AI would say yes, right? And because he noticed there was
Thanks,
5
AI.
refunds, right?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Interesting. Okay. Success and innovation often comes from understanding and responding to customer needs. How do you gather insights and turn them into actionable innovations within your company? So similar on the conversation that we were just. So now that we know these things, how do you gather this information? Do you have any examples from your businesses? And then make a solution.
So as businesses, all of us are sitting on a lot more data today than we did even 2-3 years ago. So the richness of data is tremendous. On one side, you can resort to your analytical department to kind of assimilate and analyze the data and come up with solutions. On the other side, you also have AI and machine learning that does the thinking for you. So your power to come up with solutions today is far greater. That's the first thing. But I go back, to what I said earlier, and that is kind of what is the core of innovation. The core of innovation is really being wild enough and crazy enough to say, you know what? I can solve that problem. And I'll give you one example because you want a story. So, we said mothers want immediate gratification for particular products. So a mother whose baby's pacifier broke needs a new pacifier immediately, or diapers or whatever. And so we needed immediate delivery, i.e. in the next 30 to minutes. And now it's more prevalent, but we were among the early players who went in with our Yalla delivery. Now, when we went to all of our courier partners, they all laughed us out of the room and they said, sorry, but your products are bulky, they're big, we can't deliver in 2 hours even, we'll deliver in 2 days. And so really breaking it down to solving these wild ideas, that's what innovation is about. And really, I think it's about a shift of DNA. And so for us, it was not about how difficult it is to solve. It was about hiring people who were crazy enough, brave enough to say, you know what, I want to do this, I can do this, and I'm going to figure it out. And once you have that DNA in your organization, everything is possible. And similarly with Bait, again, just one note on Bait, back then when we said we want to open up CVs to the world, they said, you're crazy, CVs are confidential, nobody wants their CVs online. Now we have, millions of CVs online and tens of thousands of employers. So we have really shifted the paradigm, and that's what innovation is about. Using your data, crazy ideas, brave people with a DNA that says, you know what, I can do it. And just because you haven't done it doesn't mean I can't. In fact, it means that I can. And that's what, that's the core of it.
I like that. So do any stories from your side on, insights changed into innovation, data collecting and then solutions?
I mean, unfortunately, or fortunately, we're getting more and more regulated, right? Which means that on the good side of it is that we're becoming more and more like a bank of financial services. So M2 is a very strong brand here in the GCC, particularly particularly here in the UAE, which is our home. Now, so you want to have this sort of safe, regulatory, transparent background, but then the problem with that is, of course, you can't innovate at the speed that you could do if you weren't regulated. And so customers and the frustrating and difficult thing for us to manage is customers want both, right? They want you to be super regulated and compliant, but they don't want to give you their passport or Emirates ID at the same time, because why do you need it? So this constant battle. Now, we are, as the gentleman was saying earlier, we are very spoiled in the UAE because you can actually use your UAE pass to onboard very soon at M2. You can link your bank account to part of your onboarding very soon on M2 as well. So we're reducing friction points, but you know, you can't go around saying, look, I'm not going to send you my Emirates ID, but take hers, you know, because you know, she might be a money launderer. And it's constantly managing those two is a day-to-day thing for us.
Okay, looking ahead, what trends or emerging technologies do you see as the next big opportunities for innovation in your industry? I think there are obvious answers to this, but I'd love to start with you.
Yeah, I think it's one of those buzzwords, but we are investing very heavily on AI, I would say. I think it unlocks a lot of power in terms of personalization, hyper-personalization to that extent, where we said, right, we just don't want to build another LLM. I think there are a lot of LLMs. You see a lot of AI tools existing. What we want to build for this region is the first Arabic LLM. And the second is kind of the best of all the worlds, right? So we are kind of aggregating all the AI tools which we have. And then we are catering to audience in a way where the best tool can solve the best problem for the user in a way. And essentially, 1 year down the line, you would definitely see Botem evolve into an application where everything can be executed by AI, where you tell them, okay, I want to plan a trip from Dubai to Europe, this country, book a flight. It can book a flight for you, it can arrange hotels for you, and it can literally give you a multi-currency on the fly and push your wallet balance to a different currency for you to have your fully satisfied trip in one go. So I think that's where we are kind of leveraging. We see some challenges in terms of kind of how do you get that data right, how do you tune the models as well. That's what we are kind of investing in. But we believe this is the way forward to kind of do everything as a voice command instead of kind of going through 15, 16 clicks, as he said.
But no refunds, yeah?
No refunds.
Mona, what about your sector of businesses? Is something like AI or another tool or technology being...
So look, any business not thinking about AI and machine learning is not going to be around in the next decade. I mean, that's the reality. And any business who hasn't started AI and machine learning within their business, no matter what industry you're in, needs to start tomorrow. And they're already late. So AI is reshaping the way we run our businesses. It's reshaping the way we engage with our customers. In fact, it's reshaping the way we ourselves think. And you know, many of you probably have seen the jobs that will become obsolete and the ones that will not become obsolete. So it's very, very real. And again, with businesses like ours that have tremendous data, you know, we have started thinking about how we leverage that data within machine learnings years ago. The second thing is, again, I said it earlier, personalization to the power of one. Gone are the days where you're mass marketing customers. Customers want to be spoken to the power of one. The third thing is you have this, you know, gig economy and, you know, this hybrid workforce. So, you know, COVID was an accelerator of kind of the work from home, but that's not going to go away. So as the type of employee changes and professional changes, as AI and machine learning takes over a lot of jobs, you're going to find a lot of the growth of this gig economy. And so we have to also adapt in how do we accommodate that within our businesses. And then certainly last but not least, blockchain is real. Many of us, you know, are naive in terms of our understanding and getting up to speed with kind of the blockchain. And again, these impact all businesses, all ecosystems.
I have a final question. I know we finished with time, but I think this is going to be nice even for me. If any of the people here who are in a job that they're in a department where they want to impress or where they're stagnated or stuck, or somebody who's an entrepreneur and he feels, okay, the competition is so high, you know, the people sitting on the stage have innovated within their industries, and I'm sure you have to keep re-innovating. What is, in one or two sentences, if I'm going to start from furthest to closest, one or two sentences in your experience, if they're feeling stagnated or stuck, can push them to innovate? Maybe a way that it worked for you, whether it's a retreat, whether it's a meditation, whether it's brainstorming session. How do you approach innovation, and maybe that can spark something?
Yeah. So I would say there's a lot of data today in the world, right? Whenever you feel like you're stagnated somewhere, I think go back to the drawing board, look at one of those niche problems within a lot of problems which you're facing. Try to tackle that in the right way which handles one set of customers well. So for anybody, even in the entrepreneurial journey, I feel a lot of people kind of want to build fast. We as ourselves in Astratech, we don't want to be first movers in anything, right? We don't want to be first to launch. We want to be first to solve. Once you are first to solve, you become fast to launch. And that's how naturally you will be in that zone where you are first one to kind of solve something for the people. So that's my advice, if you would say. I think don't look at just, okay, this is not being done, let me be fast to it, let me launch first. Like, first to solve is the thing.
I think I would say that, in today's world, compared to, say, when I was, coming out of university, you can learn absolutely anything online. And I don't think people make enough use of that. There's so many useful podcasts, that you could just spend your weekends just learning. And reading around subjects, and over time things will come to you that you weren't expecting just by being open to learning further. I think you should never stop learning, no matter how senior or how junior you are in anything.
I love what you just said, because it's funny how back in the day, even if you wanted to travel somewhere, you have to go to the bookstore to buy a book, so you know where to go when you travel as a tourist. And today you can easily get it with a search. But sometimes I feel people are underutilizing the knowledge that's there. Now, with your approach, one, I think, very interesting point is, for innovation to happen, you don't only have to read or download knowledge from your domain. So let's say Bitcoin, suddenly you'll check a podcast about gardening. And I think sometimes this is what's untapped, that makes you unorthodox. So when you're starting to learn from such random things, something makes yours unique, because you'll tap into something that maybe a gardener was doing in his business, and you're like, how does that apply? And that problem can be solved in my business. And I think that's something that people don't do enough of, the diversity. Mona.
So your question was, if you feel stagnant, how do you...
Yeah, anybody here. And they feel the pressure of, I need to innovate, right?
Sure. It's really very simple. What are the need gaps that you see? What are the pain points that you see? And oftentimes, the best entrepreneurs and the best innovators are the ones who felt the pain point themselves. They lived that pain point. I lived the pain point as a mother, and I lived the pain point as an expat, for example, abroad. So what's the pain point that you want to solve? Are you passionate enough about it? Like, if you solve that, would you be super excited? And if you say yes, because later when it becomes super difficult, you keep remembering, but I'm passionate about that. I love that solution. So you keep thinking about the end of the line, the finish line. So are you passionate about it? And then third is, are you brave enough? Are you a brave person, or are you a person who just wants to sit back and complain? And then you innovate. So it's really very simple.
Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you, Sudu, Mona, Rishab. This was lovely. I hope it was interesting to everybody, and I hope they could apply something. So, thank you, Anas. Thank you.
Wow, that was definitely a very, very, very fruitful discussion, if I may say. I believe we have covered a lot of the topics. We have covered a lot of different perspectives to do with the innovation in different industries. We have seen some about the cryptocurrency. We have seen some about the e-commerce. And I believe a lot of us are also having their own thoughts, right? I mean, every single person here is having their own thoughts about innovation and how to tackle that and how to go on with the innovation in their own industry. However, the next topic is very interesting. And this is I would say my passion as well, talking about technology, talking about AI. And I believe also one of the topics that has been covered during the discussion is the utilization of the AI in some of the industries. And for this part, I would like to invite Mr. Ahmed. I believe everybody knows him as Mr. Slorks, where he's going to be covering the next part about the innovation in the smartphone industry and the technology. Please welcome to the stage Mr. Ahmed. Put your hands together for Mr. Ahmed.
It's working. Can you hear me?
Yep.
All right. I'll make the TikTok version of this. I promise. Okay. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. No pun intended. It's an honor to be here. Today, innovation is obviously something that is thrown around everywhere. Just slap innovation, slap AI, call it a day. But honestly, Honor does have a lot of innovation. And what I have here in my hand is not just another phone. I review phones for a living. Honest to God, that's what I do. I just keep changing phones. I go back and forth and I use phones. And one of the things that I've realized over the last couple of years that they're getting boring, right? So it's just a glass slab on the front, glass on the back, call it a day. Maybe new colors, whatever. But over the last couple of years, we saw innovation in the foldable space where you can bend your phone in half. And it revived that form factor era where phones were not boring. They didn't look the same. They didn't feel the same. They did a lot of things that are different. And that's what Honor brought specifically with the Honor Magic V3. But the cool thing, they didn't just do hardware. They did software. And of course, they did that second popular word that we know now, AI. So how does AI get implemented in day-to-day life, specifically when you think about the segments that are related to urban living? Of course, resources in energy, logistics and transportation, tourism, hospitality, and of course, healthcare. In all of these segments, we do have some sort of implementation with AI that is obviously limited to the hardware that can give you. Because if you keep that in the back of your mind, how Honor basically adopted the accomplishments of what you can do with AI into how you can put it to make innovative hardware. So artificial intelligence actually started back in the day, according to this slide, in the 1950s. To be honest, if you ask me about AI, I'll probably think back to 2015, so 9-10 years ago. But with text prompts, that's when it started in the 1950s, where you can actually go into, before visual-based computers, where you type in a command and then the computer spits something out. You can think of it as simplified as a calculator, for example. But then you have rule-based systems, graphic interface, and then you got natural language processing. Of course, machine learning is in the early 2000s, and this is where you get the adaptation of a lot of these operating systems that are built on top of them. And then in 2020s, we got GPT. And it doesn't stop there, specifically with Honor. So for example, for Honor, the future does tap into a couple of this stuff. Now, of course, you got people that are saying, let's stick chips in our brains so we can be Sentinel with like AI. But there's a more conventional way, right? You can use AI-based bio or non-bio nanomachines. That is going to be like amazing for healthcare, obviously. But then you can also optimize operations, Cloud Brain for offloading a lot of the stuff they actually keep on your hardware. And of course, AI-based human digital twins, which is basically your avatar. It's probably going to be better than you in everything that you do. But also with AI, you don't get the limitation of just your hardware or whatever it is that you have in your hand, especially with like compute processing. And with Honor, they introduced it in a way to enrich their ecosystem. Now, you can think of it in for business, that's good, right? Because you want to sell more products. If I can put an Honor phone in your hand, a laptop on your desk, an Honor watch on your wrist, why not? More money for Honor. But for them, it was more like, how can we make these products work in a way that can give you an advantage instead of going with the competition? And speaking of competition, Samsung. Earlier this year, they announced the Galaxy AI, which is basically Samsung's way of bringing you the GPT that we just talked about into your product so it can help you do more things on the go and on the fly. So they introduced stuff like, let's see, I'm trying to read the slide here. So Circle to Search, which is what's it called? Collaboration with, of course, Google, where you can circle anything on your display, you can get information. It works very, very cool. And then you have also FlexCam, which is synergy between hardware and software, and of course AI, where you can just pop up your phone, and then the camera will figure out how to frame you. But you also have other stuff like note assets, right? Where your phone can listen to you, and then it'll summarize it, which is a handy feature for the panel we just had earlier, right? You could have just recorded everything and then summarized it. Interpreter, where it can translate stuff for you, etc., so on and so forth. But it doesn't stop there, because also in the summer, we had Apple Intelligence, AI. And it's the truth. So with Apple Intelligence, what Apple did was something different. Because all the AI models that we had up until then were LLM, large language models. With Apple Intelligence, they didn't just stop there. They wanted to give you something else, large action model, which is LAMs. So your phone can do more things for you. And it was, it's fancy. It's Apple, right? Super shiny. It does it very well. And you can expect it on an iPhone near you in the near future. But it's not tapped into the Android space until Honor decided to do something about it. And that's why we have the first, and probably the only, 4-layer AI architecture given to you from Honor, which is the Phone OS, PC OS, IT OS, and it all goes from top to bottom, where you can have all your devices working together thanks to AI, enabling features that we're going to discuss later on the phone, but also features that you can utilize in the software and everything that you have. That is Honor, obviously. But Honor, that's not enough for them. They're like, what can we do in terms of hardware so we can empower AI to become even more and maybe utilize those things so we can give you a better user experience on your device? They started with the Magic Portal. So the Magic Portal, there we go. So the Magic Portal works in a way that is pretty cool. Imagine you want to do something on your phone that needs you to jump from one app to another. This makes it simpler. So if I copy text and I need to copy the text to a messaging app, automatically it'll give me the messaging apps available so I can just copy them directly to the app that I want to copy it to. Let's say I have a picture. When I select the picture, it'll show me only the applications that will need the picture to be sent to, and so on and so forth. They also have the AI Magic Ring, which is basically enabling you to connect all your devices that are, from Honor, so you can have a better experience. Copy pictures, copy videos, copy text, etc. One way to do it. You don't need to worry about it. Absolutely seamless. But this will allow you to redefine, obviously, the boundaries of a smartphone. What can a smartphone do today, thanks to AI, to enable this off with some hardware, and specifically for the foldables? Because a lot of people I know, you tell them a foldable, they're like, oh, it breaks easily, right? It's heavy, it's bulky, it's not durable, poor cameras, a tight hinge, and specifically for only one brand that I can think of, narrow outer screen. Can't really do much with it. Honor tackled all these things, specifically also not only with the dimensions, but with the weight. So if I ask you, basically, based on the grams that you can see, obviously none of you guys probably have a scale on you, which one is the smartphone? You'll probably assume it's the heaviest one, which is 232 grams, when in reality, it's actually the lightest one with 226 grams. Be mindful, none of the phones that are actually on the slide can fold. Only one of them folds, and it happens to be the lightest one. But it also happens to be the slimmest one. 9.2 millimeters when it's closed, 4.35 millimeters when it's unfolded. It's really something. It's really, really, really something. It makes me get excited about form factor, right? Because, again, it's not just the glass on the front, on the back, call it a day. But that wasn't enough. Honor insists of making more. It's like the overachiever. And it did with specifically AI. A lot of the things that you want to do that require you to do a couple of steps before, you can do a tap of finger. So for example, I'm going to show you face-to-face translation.
Great opportunity ahead. Culture and
Thanks for hosting us.
All right, so what we just saw right now is the fact of using the form factor of the Honor Magic V3, where you can utilize the two screens, right? So you have the outer display and they have the inner display. And then when you have it open like this, you can use Interpreter, and you can instantly translate in real time with multiple different languages. That works very, very well. And it's based on the Google Cloud AI, so you also get the goodies of the Google Gemini and all that stuff, so it supports a lot of languages just out of the box. But this is also another application using the same technology in a more productive app that is related to productivity.
That's all for my proposal. Please feel free to share your comments.
Ich mag diese Idee.
Ich habe auch kein Problem.
All right, so we just had a conversation between 3 different people that don't speak the same language. What's funny is they're talking about a proposal. I mean, but they could be talking about something else. But the fact that they actually can dictate everything that was said in one language that is probably understandable for a lot more people, and then you can summarize it, share it, etc., that's phenomenal. But again, that wasn't enough for Honor, so they decided to allow you to use all these stuff with the Magic Portal that we talked about across over 150 applications that you already probably use every day, including Google, TikTok, Instagram, Maps, WhatsApp, etc., etc. So it's really, really, really innovative in terms of what it can do hardware-wise, but what it can do also with AI and software. And the theme for tonight, of course, that wasn't enough for Honor. Because if you think about it, when Honor actually started with AI, that's what I was talking about earlier. I think about 2015. The very first Honor Magic phone. Look how bulky, look how big those bezels are, but good times. Anyways, so during this time, innovation in terms of AI was the neural engine in the NPU. It is related to hardware, boring stuff. Think of it this way, your phone gets to know you based on your usage. If you're somebody that opens up a lot of applications, it'll save RAM, so it can keep your applications open. If you're somebody that doesn't charge his phone every night, it'll be mindful that, oh, this person probably needs more batteries so he can stay connected all day. This thing did it back in 2016, and that was the first implementation of AI. But then in 2022, they did a whole, this is when LLM started, and how you can actually have it on your phone so it can help you finish a lot of the stuff that you need to do on the go. But in 2024, they put the whole language on the phone. You can have it be offline, disconnected, and you can still do all this stuff on device. But what? That's not enough for Honor. What did they decide to do? They decided to do something for the future that is very tangible. I was lucky enough to be in Berlin a couple days ago, and I got to see Mr. George talk about this, and I was blown away. Because what Honor wants to do is something that nobody in the Android space is tapping into, and they're calling it the Honor AI agent. Tacky name. I wouldn't call it that. But what the agent does is incredible. Think of it this way. I want to text my wife and be like, hey, listen, I'm going to be late, but this is where I am. And I take a picture of myself. Now, if I want to do that today, right now, on any phone that you probably have, just so she can believe me, right? So if I want to do that right now, I need to bust out my phone, take a picture, go to WhatsApp, and send it to her. So it's a few steps. With AI agent, I just tell it, listen, send the picture to my wife and tell her I'm going to be late on WhatsApp. And that's what the agent will do. It will go into WhatsApp, send her a picture, and do all of that with just one single command, because it will be relying on large action models. It's in the thing, action. It'll take action for you. It'll do things for you. That's just one example. You can tell it, get me an Uber. You can tell it whatever, and it'll do it for you, because that's what it'll tap into. And believe it or not, that's something you cannot do right now. Get your phone out right now and do it. It's not going to do it for you. It'll tell you, oh, I'm not allowed to go into WhatsApp, or what is a WhatsApp, or whatever, and it's because it's large language model. It's only programmed to do language. It's not programmed to do action. So that's what Honor wants to do with the Honor AI agent, is actually give you the ability to interact with the UI awareness, obviously, because it has to know what is actually the applications that are installed on your phone, your habits, the device environment learning, how do you use your phone and what you use it for, intent understanding, decision making, it'll make decisions for you. Maybe you don't make good decisions, and your phone will make better decisions for you. You'll be a better person. You never know. Get an Honor phone. And then you can have in-app and cross updates between them. So all of these things, just imagine, are within reach. I don't know if I'm supposed to say this, but Mr. George said it. Expect to see this some more early next year. Who knows? February 2025, new phones? They'll give them to you. Anyways. Let's end it with this slide. Any sufficiency, advanced technology, indistinguishable from magic. And what else do you got other than magic? With Honor, with the Magic OS. All right, I tried to make this the TikTok version of it. Thank you, and have a great evening.
Wow. Wow. AI agent, huh?
Yeah.
AI agent. That's incredible. The things that just came to my mind, what can be done with the AI agent. I mean, we have been talking about innovation, we've been talking about AI the whole day today, right? And I've been saying this for quite some time is, we have not seen any other brand that is utilizing AI to actual functions that has direct impact on people's lifestyle. But with the AI agent, with everything that has been covered earlier today, it's definitely phenomenal to see how we're actually thinking about innovating the technology in the smartphone industry, utilize the AI and all of this to give our consumers a device that truly impacts their lifestyle, a device that makes their lifestyle with less hustle, more productive, more efficient. I mean, this is the dream for everybody that is interested in the smartphones. Now, for the next topic, this is where it's going to get interesting, right? I believe all of you have gotten a wristband saying, right, Android, iOS, right? You guys got that with you? Yeah? Great. I think you guys need to come up in the front over here, right? Because it's going to be so much fun right now. For this part, we're going to be having a tug of war, right? So we're going to be having a little bit of a debate, a little bit of a discussion, I believe. I would like to invite Danish, a.k.a. Dan Talks, to the stage. Please, big round of applause to Danish.
All right, how's it going? Good evening.
Danish, why don't you give us a little bit of a brief of what's going to be happening over here, right?
Sure. All right, so what we're doing here is, there was a quintessential question that we had, which was Android versus iOS. Which one is better? If you go on to Reddit, if you go on to Twitter, it's this horrific war that's just going on constantly. So what we wanted to do instead is just have a plain, simple, nice conversation.
Nice conversation.
Nice,
okay,
nice.
Yeah,
peaceful
I
conversation.
I completely believe you. Yes.
A peaceful conversation about the benefits of each of these.
Yeah, let's do that. I mean, as you said, it's an ever-going discussion, right? You get iPhone users, iOS. No, we're better, right? We're this and that. And Android, more functions, man. Right? I mean, and that's very interesting. Well, I would like to invite two teams.
Right.
So we're going to be having the Android team today.
Yes.
And we're going to be having iOS team. And let's see how the conversation, let me repeat, the nice conversation,
yes, the nice conversation
goes between both of them. So for the Android team, I would like to invite Mr. Badr Al-Hammaji to the stage. Please welcome to the stage. Big round of applause to Mr. Badr. And next we're having Mr. Abdullah Al-Qassab. Please welcome to the stage. Right, I see everybody super excited about this. All right, good. Now I'm worried about this discussion, how it's gonna go.
Same.
All right, and finally we're having from the Android team, Dr. Huda. Please welcome to the stage, Dr. Huda. And there you have your Android team.
Yes.
Big round of applause to the Android team, everybody. Whoever is having the Android wristband over there.
How many people here have the Android wristbands on?
Can you put your hand up?
All right, let's do a big round of applause. All
right, good job. Very little.
Okay, next up we have the iOS team. First we have Mr. Simantan Das. I apologize,
Big round of
Mr.
applause to Mr. Simantas. Please welcome to the stage.
Next we have Mr. Rashid bin Hendi.
Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Rashid.
And last but not least, we have Mr. Ahmed Khalsan.
Big round of applause. Please welcome to the stage. All right, well, Danish, I'll leave you to it, man. Make sure it's safe, all right? Yeah. I don't want things flying around between both of them, all right?
I got my army hat on. I'm ready.
Okay, so let's start with iOS. Okay.
I think before we start, maybe we can have this sort of more heated environment. Maybe we can invite the people up in the front to move to the front over here. Maybe they can participate in the debate. as well.
Sure. People standing around at the back, why don't you guys come up forward a bit, please? Yep.
I think the food is very good at the back.
Fair enough. All right, so let's just carry on with...
just a minute. Khalid, Al-Amri, my man, brother, bring the people with you to the front. Bring the people with you. They will listen to the influencers, right?
The poor guy was
Influence them
eating
to the
his
front.
food.
Thank you. My man, that's what we're talking about. Yes. Listen to the influencer. He is influencing you right now.
But also, let's invite the amazing team who's sitting in the back. Come in front. It's okay. They're listening.
Fair.
They're listening.
They're listening. Let's get it moving. Since you have the mic with you, Dr. Hada, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us why you're on Team Android?
Okay, my name is Huda Al-Khazemi. I'm the Associate Vice Provost for Research Translation and Entrepreneurship in NYU Abu Dhabi. I'm as well a strategic economic and investment advisor when it comes to technology. I have an investment fund which invests in emerging technologies as well. So I do multitudes of things, and I'm the director and founder of EmirateSec, which is a great prototyping and technology acceleration center. I am on Team Android because I support versatile possibilities of monetizing new economies using new technologies. And Android offers you that kind of possibility. We'll discuss more throughout the debate.
All right, then let's go to iOS. Can you introduce yourself and tell us why you're on the team?
Greeting everyone. My name is Ahmed Al-Khalsan. I work in learning and development. My passion for the iPhone, because of, since I'm a photographer, so the screen is calibrated. It represents the actual colors, which can be printed identically on any printer that is connected to the, let's say, MacBooks. Plus the stability of the Apple applications. I mean, most companies around the world, they start with the Apple, then they start with the, let's say, other programs, or let's say, companies. The power management of the Apple is superb, especially for the social media. You'll have less drainage, thus the phone lasts longer.
All right, thank you very much. Badr, can we get, okay, sure. Okay, Abdullah can go ahead. Abdullah can go ahead. All right, so Abdullah, tell us the same. Tell us about yourself and tell us why you're on Team Android.
Well, I'm an engineer and a psychologist. I'm in Team Android because mental health matters. That should be it. But also, I'm on Team Android simply because, there is a scientist in Team Android.
Okay.
That should tell you a lot also. But I'm in Team Android because I grew up as a street smart kid, and I believe the power to the people, and I don't like being limited by certain choices only.
Fair.
So, power to the people.
That hat really helps your message.
Yeah, thank you.
It does. Fair. Your turn.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening. My name is Rashid bin Hindi. I'm in the banking industry, so we do a lot of testing on applications. And when it comes to the preferred application to begin testing with, we usually go with iOS. It's smooth, there's no crashes, and I think a lot of people here, they do have two phones. One iOS for applications and one Android phone. So there you go.
Fair enough. Badr, why don't you tell us your opinions?
Hey, my name is Badr Al-Hamadi. I'm a pilot on one of the UAE national carriers. I'm choosing Android because for me, as Mr. Ahmed Zar'ouni mentioned before, we don't have limits. Even the sky is not limiting us. With Android, you have the freedom to customize, personalize the phone as you want, where on the other side is just a uniform style. You can change only the wallpaper.
Mr. Simantas, it would be difficult to follow that, but...
I'll try.
Try.
I'm Simant Das. I'm the founder of a fintech, payments fintech called OmnisPay, which helps SME manage their payments seamlessly and easily.
All right.
Yeah. A lot has been said about iOS. Let me give an analogy, right? Imagine you are in a concert hall in Europe and you are enjoying the performance of Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra. You close your eyes, you listen to every tune, every instrument, and every note that is being played out there. There are hundreds of musicians, but you can see you can hear everyone in sync and in harmony. That is iOS for you, and that is why I'm in iOS.
You know what? That's keep it. We'll need it in a second. That pretty much is. I think I'm glad that ended there. That kept the competition going a bit. But okay, at Honor, when we were thinking of what to do and how to keep this conversation going, we thought let's kind of go online, see what people say, and maybe Badr, I'll start this one with you. All right. So I'm going to read out a tweet, and you can tell me whether this is Android or iOS. So if you're good with tech and know how to manipulate it, then yeah, blank is awesome because you can edit and customize the blank to be whatever you want it to be. It's an open system versus blank, which is a closed system.
It's Android as clear as the sun.
So, okay, so tell me something. You clearly said this. This part of the openness of the ecosystem really appeals to you. Why is that so necessary to you? Why do you feel, yeah, y'all can switch around. So why is that so important to the Android community?
I think it's important because if I take the metaphor that was just given, then you can imagine having 10,000 symphonies playing together in full harmony, while every symphony has their own platform, their own localization, in terms of instrumentation and in terms of, the technicality of the musical aspects that they're choosing. And that's Android for you. So having an open source platform would allow developers an access to customization and customizations by regions. If you look at the market share of mobile apps, 71% of that market share is Android, and 60% of the profitability on monetization structures belong to Android. And if you look at the mass of people who are using it, they're using it either to have a versatile market distribution strategy, for example, for unicorns who are available on these platforms like WhatsApp, Grab, Spotify. They choose to go through Android system because they have a wider market access when it is about emerging markets. And the capital of Android, when we are talking about emerging markets like India, China, or Africa, is bigger than 85%. So it allows you a platform to decentralize access to technology development and democratize it in a sense because it's not in a closed platform, and allows you as well to have an income other than just the platform controlling that source of income.
Fair enough, but then that income...
This is where you drop mic.
Okay, fair. Okay, we drop the mic. iOS?
Well, sometimes in order to customize, that means it doesn't suit you. That's why you go to the customization. I mean, some of you will have, without mentioning brand names, but you have a car that you want to customize, and there are different cars that are a bit expensive, but it offer you everything. The thing is that with the Apple, they give you a perfect or almost perfect ecosystem. So you use your AirPod to listen to music, receive a call. Then once you want to shift to your laptop, you don't have to disconnect. You can connect it directly and start, let's say, a meeting in Microsoft Teams, for example. So whoever tries the iOS, if he's satisfied, he wants to be in that ecosystem, and as Samantha said, live in harmony or in heaven.
So basically, then it would come down to the fact that at the end of the day, both operating systems appeal to those who look for either the customizability or just don't want to think about it at all, right? I think we can peacefully say that, right? Okay, cool. Peaceful. Where's Allah? I got peaceful. There we go. I got peaceful. All right. For this one, some others you can take this. People, it's your money. Buy what you feel, right for you. Most phones are now only 5% different. As for me, I want always-on display, micro SD slot, and a headphone jack. So I will stick to blank for now. I may change my mind in the next few years. Okay, so then I ask you guys, do you all miss a micro SD slot or a headphone jack?
No. Actually, the way probably the iOS ecosystem works is that they stay one step ahead, right? Much before what others could visualize, they try to innovate, right?
Okay.
So whether it is the headphone jack, when nobody dared to, they take a wild bet, saying that okay, we'll remove that. Whether it is the SD, whether it's the micro SD removal also. So I mean, the way they look at it is very, very different. And sometimes the whole is, or the sum, or the whole is better than the sum of parts. That's how I would summarize iOS, because the parts, again, align together to give you a great experience. It's the experience which that matters, not individual features or standout features. It's the entire experience. Yeah, that's what I would say.
Android rebuttal?
Well, see, back in the dark ages, right? There were federal federal lords who owned the land, right? And then people just lived based on whatever this lord gave them, and the lord told them, "This is good for you. Live and die with this only," and they die.
Okay.
Until the people decided, we will rise.
Okay.
And we will decide what we want to do with what we want to do. And then you had all those philosophies happening. And you had the Renaissance happening. So this is the Renaissance right now. Android Renaissance. Thank you, Federal Lords. We know what we want. And speaking of analogies, I can make a lot.
Go ahead.
We're in the world of AI, right? And one of the more concrete component of AI today is to make sure that it's ethical. And most of these kind of top rules of ethical AI is transparency and explainability. Having an open box where you can explain exactly what did you develop, why is it developed in this way, rather having an unclosed box that you claim that it's secure because it's closed rather than having it open, is not going to help you going forward, because this ethical components will be mandated, number one. And number two, we have lived in multiple scenarios globally where the claim around the closed box being secure was not validated. We have seen scenarios when mass surveillance structures were actually, for many kind of iOS kind of adapters, have actually been granted to governments so they can do mass surveillance on citizens across the world. So I think in terms of openness, we should live in a world that can offer you an opportunity to co-develop, not just to be a user of the experience.
Okay, so let me ask you, in the banking sector, wouldn't iOS be an advantage in terms of offering more, in terms of the fact that there is a openness which hinders in the way of offering more to people, to consumers?
You know, there's a saying that goes, sometimes less is more. So
iOS is filled with metaphors.
In terms of iOS and in terms of the banking industry, I think there are a couple of people here that can contest to this and say, well, there are some applications, banking applications, I prefer to use it on iOS because it just works better. Certain features such as now one of the panelists said integration of the UAE Pass. Now that's seamlessly and it's just a matter of Face ID. You don't need to enter a password. You don't need to remember a password just when you set it up for the beginning. So, okay, I'm privy for both iOS and Android. I don't see an issue with anyone using either. But iOS,
you're defeating the purpose of this chat.
They're late to the party, but they managed to perfect something. And they take a leap forward. They removed the headphone jack, and certain other phone companies did the same. They reduced the box size. Certain other companies followed as well. So they take the leap and they say, look, you like it, you like it. You don't like it, there's 100 of other OEMs out there for Android. You're more than welcome to go for it.
Okay, fair enough. Then we'll pass on the next one to you. You forgot about the price point. There are better blank at the mid-range price, which is the majority of users.
Android.
Hey, but tell me, what do you think about the price point conversation? Yeah.
Okay, you have some iPhones that are like cheaper in pricing when it comes to the SE models, for example. Maybe that will be something which more people would use because not everyone wants 3 cameras or even 2 cameras. They can live with 1 camera. And they just want a seamless application app usability. For example, I know many Android users who will take a picture with their phone camera and then upload it. Whereas when it comes to iOS, it's just a matter of using the Instagram app, for example, or Snapchat directly from the app itself. So yeah, that's what I think.
If I can just add to that, price is one aspect of it. You need to look at value, right? Okay. I think that is more important, right? You are paying a particular price. What are you getting in return? You can use the phones are sturdy, the phones last longer, right? The software support is for a longer duration. So overall, the value is much higher, right? On the face value, you would say that, okay, it is expensive, but the value is enormous, right? That's something.
You remind me of the CEO who enters the meeting room and says, "We are all family."
Yeah, please. I was waiting. I could feel the response behind my head.
We live in a world that we have almost 40% of the world unconnected in a non-digital space. So if we kept on assuming that this 40% will afford the high premium range of mobile devices, then we are excluding them by design. And that's not what Android's trying to do. They're trying to build a bit of optionality for the world. So people who cannot afford a premium range kind of price, but they want to still have an access to technology or digital technology, then they can have that experience. And not just have the experience, but also the control over the iOS, the control over what do they do with this experience. We have a proverb that says, don't teach me how to fish, but show me the river. And I think that's what Android is doing, actually. Ultimately, it offers this kind of non-monopolic platform for digital kind of development. So if you want to just use it, you can just use it. And if you want to just dip your fingers into coding and develop something, then you can do that as well.
Yeah, sure.
Believe it or not, I feel a rumor that Apple are coming in the future with Android. So it will be a war of technology rather than the software itself. If they step into that platform, then they want to occupy a large, let's say, users from the market.
Okay, so in more general words, like Android advantages is you have mobile phones starting from $80 all the way with yesterday announcing the tri-fold phone is all the way to $3,000 and even $5,000 for the global market. So that's what I see, like Android is tailoring the phones to get more people connected, to be more civilized.
Right.
As Dr. Huda mentioned now, 40% is not even connected. And that's because maybe if the phones are expensive or paying premium. For example, in the iOS, they force you to pay premium to get the full services. But they do have an option to go lower with less services or less features. So for Android, I think it's an advantage for them. You can go from 80 all the way maybe to $5,000. So everyone can get a phone.
Okay. So it's funny because you're both claiming value, but just that your definitions of value are very different. Your definition is value is spending a lot, but then you have reliability, long-term usage, etc. And yours is point of entry. So I think that's, let's just agree that both have value of some sort. Okay. In different meanings. All right. Agree to disagree. Okay. All right, next one. Team Android can take this. I don't care what revolutionary features blank has or how much better the blank is. I can never choose it over blank just because I can't install apps from outside the App Store. On blank, I can get paid apps for free and no blank can replace that. I guess there's no guess required here.
He's from the ghetto. I'm sure I played football with this dude. yeah.
But is paying for apps something that you don't like to do?
I grew up with torrent. I grew up with Linux. Yeah, it's okay. People know me. I grew up with Linux. Let's go with that.
Okay.
You get me?
Yeah.
So I grew up with telling me, define yourself.
Okay.
And this is for everybody. From a psychological point of view, let's leave stand-up comedy aside. Let's leave engineering aside. Let's get serious. Yeah. Or science. Let's just focus on psychology. Guys, we live and die and work hard for one main thing. We woke up today and we decided what to wear for one main thing. How I see me and how I want you to look at me and have the perception I want of me planted inside you. First impression and whatnot. Because we live our lives trying to define who we are for us before everybody else. And I think this is where the trick is played. If they tell you this is for the elite, and that's what they did with OnePlus, this is what they did with the Google phone. People went for that elite. We didn't drive electric cars because they are good for the environment. We didn't care about the environment. We only drove that car because it was so expensive, the elite can afford it. Now you decide. Are you gonna be the fool who is fooled? Or are you gonna decide, I'm gonna make my own mistakes, and based on that, I'll define myself. Which one will make me proud of me when I'm 60 years old and I say, I lived a life?
But okay,
that was very philosophical.
Yeah, that was very philosophical. All I want to know is if you pay for apps or not. That's all
I don't pay for apps. I love Linux. Thank you for ruining that wisdom, but why, dude? iPhone user, I'm sure.
To be fair, to answer your philosophy...
You look like you used iPhone before.
To answer your philosophy, I did not dress myself today. Honor told me I had to wear a suit. I'm always wearing shorts. So, anyway.
For the 0.001% who did not get convinced with the amazing delivery that Abdullah just gave us, I think we should also start by analyzing the statistics and data. Most of the gamers industry who depend and rely on monetization structures are using actually, around 60%, are using actually Android structures for this. So they would rather use, I would prefer to have the optionality. If I don't want to pay for them, then it's fine. There is an option not to pay for them. And if there is an option to pay, then it's okay. There is also an option to pay for them. And I think Android platforms are providing that for you. So beside the gamings, how many of you play PUBG here or Fortnite or any of these games?
There would have been
So,
more.
I mean, the mass of over 150 millions or almost 2 billion downloads or 1 billion downloads comes from Android platform on these games. So, I mean, it just tells you the appeal of having that kind of platform that supports your development kind of tendencies, plus the ability to, of course, get money if you want to get money.
Fair enough. iOS, paying for apps, yay or nay?
Well, just like period to 2014 or 15, most of the Android apps were like for free. For iPhone, partially, it's like you have to pay, and you own the program. But eventually, the developer thought that this is like a goldfish. We can like mine people. They start like, or let's say came up with subscription. So we'll find like subscription everywhere. And different application, even like for Windows application, PC, browser, etc. It's like everywhere. So basically, it's either like you subscribe or not, or find an alternative to that specific program without mentioning, let's say, program name that you can own, but will have like maybe less features, but do the job.
Fair. But do you, in this case, their point basically is that Android always has an option, always. Whereas in iOS, you're forced. Do you feel forced?
Honestly, no. I mean, like, I'll use whatever that suits me. If there is like a better application that serves me well without hassles, then I'll go for it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Let's move on to the next one, and iOS can take this. we had I can point the person out. Since I use my phone for gaming usually, I prefer blank. I look for faster charging instead of longer lasting. I find that blank is more customizable and optimized for games and gaming accessories. Blank typically has more games available which run smoothly too, my opinion. I'm not going to take that as suspense because that wasn't one, but here's my question. Do you feel like on iOS gaming is a worthwhile experience?
It is indeed. You'll have like two major things. The frame per second for the screen and the sound. You have to try. I mean, like, use both.
Okay.
Then you'll see like which one is, let's say, much more immersive. Maybe you'll have like extra option on the Android, like for the, let's say, the joysticks add-on or like a battery charger. But again, iOS is different.
Fair.
Does the iOS know what is fast charging?
To be fair, they just got a little better.
Exactly.
They just got a little better. They didn't reach triple digits, but they're halfway. It's okay.
In 2024, and they're still halfway. So see them the next decade.
Why this phone? Why iPhone? Why do you buy it? Why do you buy it? You don't look better in those pictures. There is a blind test on YouTube, very famous, by the way.
Yes.
For this Marquez guy.
Yes.
And he made a blind test for all the famous phones, iPhone to Google Pixel to the other phones. Blind test. So they make the people choose the pictures. Same angle, same everything. Extremely scientific method, not this influencer stuff.
Correct.
Okay? iPhone didn't win.
Yes.
Not even third place.
Never has.
So if you think you look prettier on iPhone, you don't. There's another phone from Android that actually won in a blind test by iPhone users. So why?
All right. So
they're making USB.
This was supposed to be removed.
Sorry, I'm done.
Oh my God, they're making USB-C a feature still.
We love you guys. My kids have iPad. It suits their needs. They're 5 years old. So
I didn't select the tweets. I did not select the tweets. All right. To be fair, I will not lie. When I saw this before, I saw iOS tweets on here. So I'm just clicking away, waiting. Oh, wow, the page name came up. Let's move on. All right. Okay. Let's give this one a shot. I can't believe I'm saying this, but apps are better on blank. Apps just have good looks, but performance sucks on blank.
do not look at us. That got nothing to do with us. That got you all over. And you know when a banker says less is more, this is scary for the public. I'm just saying. I heard you. Take the mic away.
All right. So someone says that apps are better on Android. iOS apps just have a good look. Performance is horrible on iPhones. Come on, one of y'all, come on.
Yeah, I mean, how do you comment on one particular tweet, right?
I mean, assume that this 94 people saw that tweet.
Yeah. So let me also get a little philosophical out here, just responding to this point.
Okay.
That Apple believes in, individuality. Mm-hmm. Apple competes with Apple, not with others. Right? Today, we heard Apple competes with Apple itself, not with others. Right? It's a philosophy.
Just say that's a psychological definition, which is science.
If you just compete with
call
yourself, that's
sorry?
not a competition. If you just tend to compete yourself, then that's not a competition, I think.
It's okay to compete with yourself. The problem is if you think yourself is a standard.
Continue.
But if you look at it, every stage, right, they have been the flag bearer of innovation. When the iPhone first was launched, it was just incredible, right?
Right.
And for so many years, Android was catching up, right? The plasticky kind of phones, the kind of interface was pretty bad, right? It's recently they have kind of, managed to recover
and
have been able to catch up. But still, the fact that all the the entire ecosystem works in such unison,
right,
that you get a great experience. I would just, again, I love analogies, right? So it's a difference between fine dining and all-you-can-eat buffet, right?
But
you can get everything in all-you-can-eat buffet, but I would just love the experience of a fine dining.
So apps are better on iOS. That was your basic point.
I've gone to very fancy buffets, brother. They were more expensive than the fine dining. But the samosas were all over, not 10 pieces small.
Go ahead, you had to say something? No? All right, fair enough. Cool.
One thing, Samantha, I love your analogies when you describe the iPhone, but you remind me of this discussion that I've seen on YouTube where Generation X is telling Generation Z how bad they are. And then Generation Z is actually scored higher on the IQ and the EQ. That is how it feels with OS and Android right now. Speaking of analogies, that's it.
Fair. Okay. I'll end on this one. Upcoming movies. Android and iPhone Infinity War. Genre, sci-fi, horror, and thriller. Producer, social media. Director, the people. Actors, Apple and Android. Tickets, no availability now. Wait until we find value of infinity. K-bye. So.
That's an Android user there. Would an iPhone user write this?
No, I don't think so.
iPhone users ever thought like this?
They don't have the imagination.
Okay, before.
He owns Google Pixel Fold. He knows what he's talking about.
Okay. See. This is where peace starts dying away. I'm just going to say this, all right? I'm just going to say this. When we did a bit of a trial run, y'all said y'all were the peaceful ones. I'm just saying that didn't. But to be fair, listen, I think as someone sitting in between y'all who's really scared someone's going to throw something in a minute, I think that it comes down to the fact that I think the user, it is so subjective to the user at the end of the day. I'm actually glad that these offerings exist because they exist, they provide competition, and competition leads to innovation, which is what we've been talking about all along. So on the overall, while I was dilly-dallying between both of you all on points, I do think that this was very interesting. Thank you all for your valuable time. My name is Danesh, and Ala, you may now come back on.
Yeah, I actually wanted to. Thank you very much, everybody. It was definitely a lovely tug of war. Multiple of times I wanted to join here a little, I wanted to join there a little. I'm more of this side, right? Thank you once again, and special thanks for the Honor community as well, and to the beta users and everybody that has been supporting, giving feedbacks about our devices. But that's the thing, when we're talking about Android, and one of the biggest topics that has been going around, the AI, the functionality, the features, this is where once again we go back to talk about Honor to see that truly the AI and the innovation and the functions that we're having, this is where it has the most innovative features and functions that has a true direct impact on the people's life. And this is what everybody wants. People want to own a smartphone that is truly smart, that truly helps them to accomplish their daily tasks, but in a better way, in a more efficient way, in a more productive way. And whether it's Android, which I'll be here, or iOS, at the end of the day, it's up to the user, right? And I believe the user started doing the right decision of changing to the foldable smartphones. And I believe this is exactly what everybody will be headed to. Everybody will be headed towards the foldable smartphone industry, looking for something that is more productive, more efficient, a phone that is truly smart, that helps you accomplish everything that you need. And that will be it for today. Thank you very much. My name is Alauddin, and I was the main host for today. Have a good day. Cheers.